This week on the Push Pull Legs podcast, we preview all the stuff at Body Power, and we talk about the 8 mistakes that men make whilst dieting. Three, 2, 1. Let's hear your skin routine, Dan.
Hey guys, welcome to the Push Pull Legs podcast with myself, Dan Meek.
And me, Tom Hall. You just always got such glowing skin. I mean,
you joke about it, mate, but this morning, this being Tuesday when we're recording this, I woke up with a big spot right next to my lip. They're the worst ones, aren't they? You know the ones where you have to, like, they really hurt to pop them, like, really hurt. And then I was straight on Instagram this morning and I realised as soon as I put it on, I saw it and I was like, oh my god, that's awful. So, yeah.
I know, but some people just blast through that, mate, and do that purposely, don't they? So it's absolutely fine.
All good other than that, though, mate. Thanks.
All good. How was your bank holiday weekend?
It was lovely. I spent it with family.
You did, yeah. I saw you getting mugged by several short things.
yeah. And imagine how small they are, because they were small compared to me. So imagine how small.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no. So
I couldn't have seen them from where I was staying. So
I went back home to see my mum for her birthday. We had all the family round, and all my nieces and nephews were there. So there was five kids between the age of sort of how old's young? 2 to 7. So they all love having a good get together and spending time. Oh my god, the funniest thing happened though on the last day. So my brother and sister were staying in an Airbnb together with there was 4 kids there, and then Isabel was staying with us and my brother at my mum's house. Anyway, went to their Airbnb and they had a big patio, like from floor to ceiling windows across one whole wall leading out into the back. And they had like these sort of like these doors that you slide across, and then when you slide them across, they just look like they're part of the next door, so on and so forth. So there's obviously one that obviously the kids are going in and out of. And I was the only one that saw this. Isabel was running as fast as she could right towards this patio window, and she went through the wrong one. And she smashed into the window, and she took like 4 or 5 steps back. She was running, mind, and I mean running.
Yeah.
And like 4 or 5 steps back. The sound was amazing, and I was the only one that saw it. And she looked at me with this complete sense of shock, and I swear to God, no sound for about 3 or 4 seconds, nothing, just looking at me like such a confused like look on her face, like you couldn't work out what just happened. And then she was just bawling. She ran up to me to give me a cuddle, and I was holding her like over my shoulder, and I was just creased. I was laughing my head off, and I was like, Isabel, I was like, I can't look at her because I was just laughing my head off, and everyone else was laughing because they saw my reaction, and I was like, I'm the worst parent in the world. I was like, I just laughed my head off, and I just couldn't. It was about 5-10 minutes, I just couldn't stop laughing because all I kept seeing was the look on her face when she turned and looked at me after smashing her head. Oh my god, the sound was incredible. But I wish I'd filmed it. You know when you wish you'd had a camera on you the whole time? Incredible.
I noticed that with Isabel when we came to visit, and she hurt her finger, and she looks at you almost like, should I be crying? Yeah. I think I should be crying, and then it'll be like a 3-4 seconds thing. It's like it kind of hurt, but I'm probably okay. But I'm gonna look at Daddy, and then I'm gonna cry.
The funniest thing with this one is like she hurts her finger or traps it in the door or something. She knows that's like gonna be bad, but this she couldn't work it out.
She was like, wait a minute.
She just ran through this. Well, she thought she was running through a door, so it's not even like she knew she'd done something wrong. Oh my god, I was in stitches because, to be fair, the windows from the inside looking out looks completely clear, but on the outside looking in, there was like reflections, and you just would know. So it couldn't have happened more perfectly. It was just so funny. Oh my god, brilliant. Anyway, so that was my weekend. It was full of laughter, and it was good to spend time with the family and not worry about anything really other than just eating. Which was always good.
Eating is great.
What about yourself, mate? You played golf, didn't you? I saw.
I did play golf twice. One was hilarious because I won on the last hole, and me and my other buddy creased up when my other man missed his putt. So, I mean, we thought it was very funny. So,
I bet he did.
But yeah, he did not. We just sat there pissing ourselves as you go through. But yeah, we're fun to play golf with. It's okay. It's not as serious. It's serious, and it's also me and him like hate losing to each other. So that's the kind of thing. I'm reasonably competitive when it comes to that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was interesting. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, was it Friday? Friday was busy. Clients. Then I had to teach. Josh left me by myself, so I had to teach personal trainer level 1 all by myself. Which there was some interesting stuff that actually we could talk about that actually. Interesting stuff. And
no, we've got a perfect session plan.
I realise that, but just going off on a tangent within that session, there was an interesting one that you can dispel this for me. Obviously, I had to be I did shoot it down a little bit, but I was just like, I haven't got time. I've got content I need to go to. This is going to put me like half an hour into I've got to do stuff. But there was poor lad. Like obviously, I did rates of change on this little course of like what's actually attainable, blah blah blah, all this kind of stuff. Okay?
Hang on, nutrition.
Nutrition, I know, me talking about nutrition.
Oh my god, no wonder the poor guy was confused.
Oh, but there was one lad that said that he was at 3% body fat.
No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't. Okay, good, wonderful. Then
Wasn't.
I explained the research of like how much body fat you actually need to in your brain, number one, for your intercostals or internal organs to have around them. I was like, number two, what's that at? Was it like 2.8 or 3.5 percent anyway, just to keep that going? It's around about there.
Oh, it's something stupid like that. Yeah,
something like that. So that's the actual body fat. So it can't be 3%. So I was like, okay. Also, that took him apparently from 10% to 3% in 28 days. I was like,
yeah, of course it did. Of course it did. Yep.
And I was like, what are we doing? Oh, just eating, mate. All right, wonderful. Okay, go. So that's wrong. But it was interesting to see the philosophy and how we could break that down essentially, and put them on the right track towards science. And there was one that was, I mean, each to their own. I obviously had to say my preference on carbs and fats and how to split somebody's diet up. And no one's going to be too surprised that my preference for any athletes I take on is going to be quite a heavy carbohydrate dosage-ish. So I'm going to tend towards a higher carbohydrate diet than fat. But there was a quote that was that a woman physique athlete, and she had most of her girls on a high fat diet and really low carb due to hormonal issues. And I was just like, what? I don't understand. But have you tried the other way? And how are you tracking those hormonal issues? It's just like, I mean, Dan, you could shed some light on that. High carb, low carb.
The biggest problem when people talk about hormonal issues when dieting,
I mean, mine obviously was, how are you tracking it? And I was like, there's no way of really doing it apart from anecdotal evidence.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with it is that obviously is the tracking it element to it. But the problem the thing that I hate about people when people talk about hormones and fat intake is that your hormones are going to downregulate or upregulate depending on which hormones they are, just through dieting, from being in a calorie deficit. So by having more fat or more carbs, you're not going to mediate any of those things. But likewise, there's also research to show that actually if you were to lower carbs, you would then downregulate some of the hormones quicker than you would some others. Again, I appreciate this is all pretty vague right now. But the reason that you have, for example, high carb refeeds and you have higher carb like maybe 3 or 4 days in a row is that the effects it has on ghrelin and leptin, which can help somewhat regulate your hunger and how hungry you feel and all that sort of stuff. So actually, higher carb approaches could actually have some sort of positive effect on those. Whereas I suppose when people talk about higher fat, they mean when they say hormones, they probably mean testosterone. That's generally what they mean. And obviously, women still have testosterone and stuff like that as well. And people assume that because you need a certain amount of fat to help produce hormones in the body, that if you have more fat, you're going to help produce more hormones. Well, that's not always more is not always better. It doesn't make things better by the definition. But the biggest thing is when people say that is they clearly don't understand the fact that there comes a point where if you're in a calorie deficit for an extended period of time, your hormones are just downregulated anyway. I have done it before where I've had some clients where I've pushed their fats up slightly higher to help with that effect, to help hormonal health or whatever you want to fucking call it. But the point is that it's not by any means a high fat, it's just not extremely low. And as long as you're above half a gram per kilo of body weight of fat intake, you're going to be probably okay. And for extended periods of time that low, you're going to want to bring it up. Certainly in a maintenance phase or in a gaining phase, you would look to bring that fat a little bit higher for women. Just for that reason, and the same in guys as well. But the point here is that if you have a gram per kilo body weight, so for me 75, for Tom 150, then you will be in a place where you are healthy. You don't need to go up to the ridiculous realms of like 150, 200 grams a day for me. That you don't need to do that. That's just ridiculous. You're not going to get any extra benefit really hormonally from that point of view. It's just another way that people talk about like their secrets. They're kind of, again, like people sell the whole like, oh, you need to be higher fat for your hormonal health. You say to someone like, oh shit, my hormones, and like again, because you can't track it, or don't you're like, oh well, I better do it then. Well, no, not really.
It's just a weird scenario because we give the advice. Obviously, we have a little calculator that we give out, and it's you decide between about 1.6 to like 3 grams per kilo of body weight for protein. That gives you your first macro, and that's like the one we care about, right? This is based off either like your basal, your activity level, so it's like either your basal times either 1.3 to 1.7 based off what your activity is. And then it gives you like a 20% calorie reduction if you want to lean out, or a 10% calorie increase if you want to start putting on a little bit of mass. And this is based off, so you get the protein goal that we give is 1.6 to 3 grams per kilo. And you get to pick. And then we set a minimum of 20% of the split to be fat. We're like, don't go any lower than that, then it's going to be dumb. And then you get to work out what every else is left is either fats or carbs. It was just like, this is a generalized view. This is probably great for I'm going to say 95% of the population that we're going to be dealing with. So the 5% that this isn't great for, then chances are you need to pass them on.
Yeah.
And we're not specialized enough to do it. So yeah, it was just interesting. Obviously, we're trying to be safe as a community and have that kind of stuff going on and refer out to where we can. But it was just like, no, that doesn't happen. I need all of this level. Like, well, I was like, well, what about performance benefits? Because I'm sitting there going, all right, if we're going to talk about athlete like training, I was like, maybe I want some carbs. At some point.
And the thing that like I said, the thing that frustrates me is when people talk about that hormonal health thing, they don't. Again, is it going to be better actually for your hormonal, balance or hormonal environment, whatever you want to fucking call it, to actually have those carbs and train heavier and harder for longer? Like,
just smash it out.
Or if you have a shitty workout, is that going to affect things in the longer term? So it's just annoying that people throw it around. Like, I just don't think that a nutritionist should really be giving programming or giving that sort of stuff based on trying to manipulate hormones, like we talked about before with the whole Poliquin stuff. Like, there's elements, things that you would want to make sure that you stay within certain realms and certain, like I said, numbers of fat intake and protein intake and stuff like that. But that's not because of hormonal health. That's just because that's just health. That's just called health in general. Like, and you can't use that word. I just don't like using that word. I just think it's just dangerous territory.
Yeah. Hey, just smash some Haribos and get on with it.
Well, that's exactly it, mate.
That's all you need to do. What is life? Yeah, that should be the end of the question. All right, mate, apart from that, told you it was a tangent. Jeez. What were we going to talk about? Oh, body power. Body power. Obviously, you've got a few things you can really talk about, because obviously I'm at Body Power Friday, Saturday, and you're like, Dan is Captain Busy Socialite over the weekend. He is going to be like, all the fitness professionals he's going to go say hello to. He's like, I've got so many friends. All these Instagram friends. They're internet friends, aren't they then?
Yeah, they are, mate. It's weird. So it's weird. We said the other day, actually, how much I suppose things have changed for us in the last sort of, has it been now? Nah, 10 months.
What do you mean? Talk about last at least 5 years since you know me.
Yeah, because that's it, mate. You introduced me to everyone.
Exactly.
I suppose over the last 10 months things have changed quite a lot for us, and on a weekend like this, it like you say, it's flattering to be asked to go places and to be involved. And so we got Body Power on Friday.
I haven't asked Dan to come to that.
No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't asked me to go to that. Don't worry, he doesn't want to see me. No. He's already said he actually doesn't want to see me on that day.
Yeah. I'm too busy.
Yeah, too busy, mate. Arguing with people on stage. So I've got Friday at Body Power, which again, one day's enough at Body Power. If any of you have ever been before, you'll know one day's
That's
enough.
why I'm never to.
And then we stay at Birmingham on the Friday night, and then I think we're going London first thing in the morning, getting the train to the Revive Stronger seminar, which I'm really looking forward to, because that'll be the first seminar in a while that I've gone to, and I'm actually looking forward to hearing like some good knowledge. And like we haven't.
Who's speaking? Because it's going to be Mike Israel for sure.
Mike Israel, and then there's someone who's called @VitaminPhD on Instagram. Don't know their name, sorry. I think they're talking about gut health. I think.
Okay.
Which again will be interesting to see where the research is on that at the moment.
Interesting they got the PhD at the end of the name.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it? Yeah. And I think, and again, there's someone else I've not heard of from America, I think, but no, it'd just be great to catch up with Steve and Pascal as well. There,
Pascal Fleu.
They've invited us. They invited us there, so we'll be vlogging the day. So yeah, we're going to vlog each day we're doing this stuff for YouTube and that as well. So make sure you subscribe so you can watch.
Maybe
our amazing lives.
I'm definitely going to feature on that Friday vlog.
You will, mate. You'll be on. I hope my memory card's big enough to fit you in. That bit might get cut though. I'm afraid. I think it might get cut.
Mate, no, it's going to be me, Josh, and Amelia just taking the piss out of you. So
I no doubt about that, mate. It's at me with that camera. And then so we got that on the Saturday in London, and then we are up to Manchester on the Sunday, where Suk has asked us to speak. Yeah, he's asked us to speak to all his students about about our own online fitness business and what we do.
I would actually like to hear that, and I'd like to be in the crowd. I'm not gonna, but I'd like to see that.
Why?
Is it getting filmed?
Yeah, well, we'll be filming bits and bobs of it, but not the whole.
The whole thing. I want to sit there with you and critique it afterwards.
Why? Why you do this to me, mate? Yeah, so we're just gonna talk about, I suppose, what it is that we do and what it is that we've changed.
Nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're literally winging it. It's gonna be like blank slides, and we're gonna go.
So, has anyone got any ideas?
Yeah, anyone know what we need to put on this slide? Anyone?
Let's brainstorm. Let's get it out. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. So obviously we're going to talk about, I suppose, the last 10 months and what we've done, what we've learned. I can't believe people want to hear it, but fuck me, they do. Yeah, so no, it's gonna be really good, and I think I'm gonna fucking take Monday off. I reckon.
Yeah, you deserve
it. Because we're going, Birmingham, London, Manchester, in 3 days. So a fair bit of travel.
All the three cities. That's the 3 cities, isn't it? They're the biggest cities in England.
I would have said so. Yeah.
I would have said so as well, mate. Bowling.
I know. I just wish, I just wish it was worth it from a financial point of view. But one day we'll be paid to do all that sort of stuff.
I'll buy your protein.
One day we'll be like Martin McDonald and we'll go on like world tours.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll get you a protein bar on Friday, mate.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, because there's not going to be free samples of those. This is on the Friday. Yeah. So yeah, no, it's going to be a good weekend. And like I say, we've had to move a few clients, so we've had to move our clients to a day early because we usually do this on Friday. So. Again, the beauty of our work means we can do that. So Wonderful. The next few videos, like I said, on YouTube are going to be, we've got one out Thursday, and we've got a food challenge out on Monday, and then after that will be the 3 vlogs. We'll do them sort of maybe back to back, so people can get an idea of what it is like to live our lifestyle. It's really fucking boring, I promise you. There's nothing exciting going on.
Just watch the Friday one, guys, because you're obviously going to see me, so that'd be incredible.
Spoiler alert.
Mate, no, I'm gonna send. I know you edit it, but I can.
Yeah, I'm gonna get Josh in it.
I'll text Mike.
Josh will be in it. You will not be in it.
Can we get my big boss in it? Or two of my big bosses will be there. My CEO and my director.
You always tell me you're the boss, mate. Hang on.
I'm far from that.
You always say to me,
I'm at least about third in command.
Strong place to be that, mate.
I wish. Yeah. I just train the guys that are in command. That's about it. That's what I know.
All good for me.
All right. So what we actually thought we'd do was flick through some of the names because obviously it's called the Body Power Experience now, and there's a lot of stuff that's going on.
It is an experience.
It will be an experience, and there's a lot more. I mean, you got CrossFit going on. There's like Muay Thai combat stuff going on. There's, I believe, a physique show at some point. That was
one, mate.
All right, at least two. There's strongman, CrossFit, all that kind of stuff. I believe every protein supplement brand will be there at some point. Every PT training, I don't know, education platform will be there. Dan and Mike will be there, and and you got a load of stages where people will be discussing things, which is pretty cool. You probably get to see some people you know, and by all means, if there's somebody that you know or like in the industry, that is the time to say hello to them, because they're probably there all day and they probly like it. So
and they'll be so high off BCAs and caffeine that they won't even know.
They won't have a clue what's going on. So that's the day to do it. I mean, very sad that there's apart from I thought there might be the ex-Arsenal goalkeeper Jens Lehmann might be there, but apparently I don't think it is him. But yeah, I might hang around a bit at the strongman and the CrossFit, because I'd like to see some ridiculous athletes doing some stuff. But apart from that, why
would you be near the CrossFit bit then?
Just see how much gear they take.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's about it. I want to get some dosages, mate.
Every time they do a pull-up, just go 0,
0. 1. That'd be hilarious. So we're going to pick out a few names that we think you should go, if you are going, go and see or go look at their work and possibly the topic they're talking about. Apart from, obviously, Saturday at 11 on the first base stage. 11 a.m. It's a bit early. Bit annoyed by that.
Go and get a coffee at that time.
Get a coffee and then come back at 11:45 when I'll be off the stage. So yeah, I'm on at that time, 11 o'clock on a Saturday morning.
What are you talking about, Tom?
Good question. Should you train? I mean, this is the funny, because people have asked this, and it's, should you train your clients like athletes? I'm just gonna say yes, and then just kind of I'm done. Yes, you should.
Yep. What type of athlete? Darts player. Next.
Darts player. That's literally. I was like, darts player. Yep. Boozy. Yep. We've never done a podcast drunk.
We haven't, mate.
No, that'd be funny. But
only if we would be drunk together, though, would it be funny?
If one of us was drunk, that'd be
fucking annoying. Is what that would be.
I haven't seen you drunk for a very long time, but should you train your clients like athletes? 100%. I'm on a stage with a guy called Darren Bruce, who's a big component for Exos, done every single mentorship program within their company. So I'm assuming.
Wonder what he's going to say.
Assuming he's going to be like Captain Exos, like athletes performance. Every little hop and skip about that. We've got Michael Goldron, who is I believe the creator owner. I'm sure he's the owner, but definitely the creator of the Integra education system. If you know, obviously Dan and Mike have done a bit with the Muscle Mentors recently, and they are good friends with him and Integra. Josh has been doing some stuff with Integra. Binned my powerlifting off straight away, didn't he? I wrote a program for him. He hit some PRs first week. I was like, that's how good I am. And then he started doing bodybuilding, because that's kind of true to his heart, I think. So, yeah, the Integra stuff is very, very interesting, and I like Michael as a guy. He's really cool. I think I'll go out on a limb and say we could probably invite him on to have a chat with him, to be honest, if anybody's interested in that. He's super smart, which is this is what I'm a little bit nervous about. But there is some stuff that I will be I would disagree, but I might show a different light onto, because obviously my aspect is maybe rehab into strength integration for clients more than anything else from that kind of side, and maybe not so much bodybuildery. So that'd be interesting. All the plyos I can throw in. They'll be like, no, I'm not using a band, mate. All right, wonderful. Okay, it's not attached to your humeral tuberosity. And if anybody wants to say that the humerus doesn't have a tuberosity, doesn't. I know that. Thank you. And then I think Kathy Brown's going to join us. You know who that is, Dan.
I do.
You too, old Kathy. World number 3, super awesome champion at boxing. So it should be interesting. She'll talk about like mindset and all that kind of stuff. So pretty fun. I think it'd be good. But yeah, that'd be good. All right, so should we rattle through some of these names? So I'm just going to pick some out for you, Dan, and you can say yes, go, or don't bother. So we've got, obviously, our mate Phil Lerney will be speaking at... I don't think he's got any time to breathe. I think he's everywhere.
Yeah, it seems like he is.
He will be. Most of his stuff will be about selling your PT services. I think that's his jam now. He's certainly moved into that kind of world, so Phil Lerney. decent
worth
guy
going to.
Decent guy to go if you want to go learn about that stuff. 100%. I think that's an interesting one. There's a couple we won't be going to. Ben Coomber and Tom Bainbridge, more than likely. Martin McDonald, definitely. So on the Saturday, he's speaking a few times. So we got nutrition for fat loss and muscle gain. Dan
Loves it, doesn't he?
Probably needs to do that.
Should probably go along to that. Really, I'm saying I'm not there that day.
Obviously, you got literally 3 in a row, and also 4 in a row. If we, I don't know who the first one is. Jason Jackson. I don't know who that is.
Don't know that.
No, okay. You got Laurent Bannock. So on that Saturday stage, you got Bannock. He was the Guru Performance podcast.
Yeah,
I believe. He is now doctor, I believe. Is he?
I don't know.
I think he's
I don't
PhD
follow.
or doctor. He is the nutritionist for Mo Salah.
Mo Salah.
Mo Salah.
Just Mo Salah?
Just him. Just gives his protein shake, runs off.
Yeah.
Every single time. You need a carrot. All right, there you go. Great. He does. So what's his topic? Varying nutrition protocols for athletic and performance goals. He's got a clinic on Harley Street. I believe he works out of that most of the time, and then does a load of stuff. Mark McDonald, of course. Amelia Thompson. Again, Dan. What the hell? There's no doctor or PhD on this one either.
I know.
She's going to be pretty angry about that.
I would be if I was her.
Yeah, I would be. All that effort to the PhD.
Like I said in my post, mate, if it was a bloke with a PhD, he'd be on
there. Gordon Greenhorn, rapid fat loss, 14 pounds in 20 days.
Mm.
Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, he did it for his wedding, didn't he? He did like a rapid fat loss diet, and I think he's talking about whether diet should be sustainable or not, and basically. I don't want to spoil it for people, but
I mean, there might be some people that aren't going.
But yeah, no. Basically, it's just probably going to be a talk about
£14. That's like what? What's that in kilos?
7 kilos.
7 kilos.
Yeah, it's going to be the argument about should dieting be sustainable, or the idea that, and we've actually got with our video on Thursday on our YouTube channels about this very thing. People talk about sustainable dieting, but dieting shouldn't, by its definition, be sustainable. Like you can't lose weight forever. Like. You make changes to your diet so that you lose the weight, and then once you've done that, you need to make changes again to it. Like there are things that you do and habits you have which are sustainable, of course. But I think he's going after that whole thing again. If you're experienced, you know what you're doing. Actually, you can have quite a large calorie deficit and lose a lot of body fat in a short space of time. Just fucking hard work. And the reason that getting people regain weight isn't because the diet failed; it's because they fucking filled their face with food, and the diet, they maybe didn't teach them habits and didn't teach them how to think about portion size and calorie control or whatever. But I imagine it'd be something along those lines. It'd probably be quite good to go and watch.
Yeah, I think so. He speaks pretty well. Good lad.
As long as you can understand his accent.
That's the only issue. Scottish lad, isn't he?
He is.
Yeah. On the Sunday, you got John Buckland. If anybody's a new PT and wants to go learn about the Big Three, maybe go talk to him or listen to that. So he's just going to be talking about big three compound movements, which is, I think, probably anybody can.
The bicep curl, the tricep extension, lateral raise.
That is it. Yeah, basically
cool.
every part of your shoulder and your humerus. Yeah, that's it, mate.
That's all it.
You should do that. You should talk about that.
Can you imagine if I did that? I did a talk and I was like, we're going to go over the Big Three today.
Yeah.
And right, this is a bicep curl.
If you put this towards your bicep, your hand. Yeah, there we go. Nailed it. And you can also do it down. Oh, yeah. Done. That'd be great, mate. Tom Blackman. I do know him. I know of him, but don't know him.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing. He owns a gym near here. Ministry Fitness. He knows what he's talking about. He's a very, very knowledgeable guy, very, very funny guy.
Yeah.
As well. Yeah, that'd be good. I think he's doing one on. I saw that he's doing
on old man training.
Is that what he's doing on?
Yeah, pretty much. Older people gaining muscle, pretty much.
Oh, okay, cool. I think the other one he's doing, he's also got another talk on insulin and its uses in bodybuilding. Obviously exogenous insulin, injecting it in. Stuff like that. So yeah, no, he knows a lot about drugs, and he's pretty clued up. So he'd be good to watch if you're interested in that sort of thing.
100%. That's the nutrition and fitness stage. So I think that stage is heavily built around educators. All of them do that for a living, ish. Some better than others. And you got the fit stage, I believe. So that it seems to be more like athlete-based fitness professionals, I believe. You've got like Mike Rashid, Tom Coleman, yeah, Dan Lynn and Rob Bailey, those guys, Sonny Webster, all these guys. But they're talking about like training styles. There's one there like Aesthetics 90s to 2019. That'd be interesting to see how aesthetics for bodybuilding or aesthetics training has changed over from the 90s to now. You're way more into your aesthetics and bodybuilding than I am, but what would you say has changed since you first came across it way back when to now?
Oh, just the sheer size, I think, and I think like the level of conditioning just gotten more and more insane. I think when you look back to that sort of time, I think it was very much built around proportions and things like that. And obviously, guys now it's just like I don't like saying it because it sounds a bit harsh, but it's kind of like a freak show now. It's kind of like who can be the biggest and who can.
100%. We were talking about this exact thing on PT1 on Friday when I was teaching, and I had to identify. And I was like, you have to realise that when we want, me and Dan, not really. We're probably the more general public of this conversation, but these people who push themselves to the limit. I think we went off on a tangent talking about drugs and people going to that level, top class athletes, and I was like, they're the freaks. They're the exception that breaks every single rule that we would stick out for most people. I was like, they had their will to win is that big, especially with a drug, that they're kind of willing to do whatever it takes. So that's a big thing for us.
Yeah, I think it's just. But even at that point, like even someone like when you look back at Arnie or whatever, he was a genetic freak. But again, it's more a case of he had a look that people would look at and go, that's aesthetically pleasing. Whereas now they're not. In my opinion, they're not. Like the bodybuilders and stuff, I'm like, it is a wow, but it's not a wow as in look how good he looks. It's a wow as in, oh my fucking god, how big is that guy? And it's almost become a bit that way. And I think that's maybe what the talk. I have no idea what the talk's going to be about, obviously, but I'd imagine it's going to go into that and maybe looking at the current winners of Olympia and how much bigger they are and how much different they look. And I think before
doing that one is our mate Ulysses.
Oh, that'd be fun.
That's the guy who gets punched in the stomach whilst doing like ab stuff.
And he knows how to train his abs, that boy.
He does. He definitely does. That's an interesting stage, though. You got like real life influencers, life behind the lens. Surprised you're not on that one, mate.
Oh, I did get asked. We turned it down. We couldn't, mate. We're at Revive Stronger, so we couldn't.
Very true. Yeah.
We did get asked. Yeah. Is that like Rob Lipsett in that? Isn't it?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think it is.
That's getting shredded for the summer, Rob Lipsett.
Right. Oh, is it? I thought you were talking about like his YouTube or whatever.
Then you've got like content value, growth, social media explosion, so all that.
But again, that annoys me a bit because it's like we've been on Love Island, mate. So like what people can do is just go on TV and then it'll explode for you. Yeah. Do you know, it's kind of like.
It's interesting. Also, there's going to be loads of like classes and stuff. So there's a load of TRX stuff. I think one of ours. So there's a girl called Charlotte Tooth, I believe, who listens. She's teaching like every other class for TRX on every day. I think.
One of our listeners is more famous than you at Body Power. They're doing more time.
1,000%. Yeah, her name is written down about 10 million more times than mine.
Did not know that.
Yeah, great. So we got so there's that stuff. There's the CrossFit Faber stage thing, which I'm gonna go and have a look at because there's lots of like, it's all about functional movement. So obviously that's gonna be great.
That's really important.
That's really important. But yeah,
I hate my movements being unfunctional.
Dysfunctional, I believe it is. Dan?
No, I use the word
unfunctional. But that is so dysfunctional. It's unfunctional.
Exactly.
Decent, mate. Be interesting to see Shelley McCoy, Sonny Webster, especially with Sam Oldham, gymnastics versus CrossFit, gymnastics. Be interesting. There's a lifting clinic, which I might send Dan to. Dan's clients. There's nothing about that. It's all like snatch clinics. Snatch, yeah. Athlete demos. Sounds awful. If you want to check out the third space stage, though, we've got my boss, Rob Beale. We'll be having a little chat. Then you got Phil Learney. He's going to be on our stage talking about selling your PT services. Josh Silverman will be on about 1:15.
Not worth it.
And definitely not worth it. With Tim Hart, Rachel Butcher, and Jason Jackson. Okay, so we obviously do know who that is because we've invited him on with Josh, that nutritionist. So that's a nutrition roundtable. So talking about worthless DNA tests, I believe, and that kind of stuff. Why people need to do any of the hormonal testing and all that kind of stuff. And busting myths. Every nutritionist seems to bust myths. It's very interesting. Then we're going to have some lunch. Then the CEO, Mr. Colin Waggett's going to be there. That'll be interesting.
Wow.
So if anybody wants to chat to him, because do. He used to be the CEO of Fitness First when it went from about 10 gyms to global. So he did pretty well for himself there, I believe. So
it's all downhill.
It's all downhill. Now he's at Third Space.
Now he works with you, mate.
I trained him for 9 months. Poor bloke.
Poor guy.
Poor guy. Michael Golden's Michael Golden's doing his own talk. So Integra Education. So anybody who's massively into bodybuilding and a bit nerdy, go to that. So he's doing the blueprint for advanced exercise design. That'd be fun. And then obviously Amelia Thompson. We put the PhD on because we wrote this one. She'll be happy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Make sure you tell her that. You should be well chuffed with that.
I know. A humanistic approach to nutrition, but she did go at us when she sent me a message. Was like, "Why is my title changed?" I think Josh has changed the title of our actual talk, but it's cool. And then we've got a rehab roundtable, which will be interesting because you've got Henry, who's an osteo, Carl, who's like MSc physiology, Stu Slater, who's PRI. And Stuart Elwell, who is the kind of the face and instructor of the FMS in this country, the only one that really does it, I believe, teaches it. So that I think I might stick around for that because you got a fair few contrasting, conflicting views, especially from a rehab point of view. That's all going to be about assessing and testing, which is going to be quite interesting for me. So that's only on Saturday though. So. And then you've got the kitchen, Dan. This will be interesting because I'd like to get your thoughts on this. The kitchen is sponsored by Nando's, which is great. I mean, I think that's superb.
I hope there's going to be Nando's there.
I hope there is going to be Nando's there, to be honest. So you got Nando's versus Tom Coleman. I don't know if that's an eating challenge, maybe.
I don't know how it's going to be a fight. Or
No, you got you got some strange stuff. Creating a Herbie falafel burger. Social snacking. Phil Loney, again, doing a quick and easy recipes to sport. It's very much about just creating food. It's like a cook thing. Didn't Laura and Mike do something on that stage last year?
Yeah, Laura did had a thing, and Mike assisted.
Yeah,
nobly.
So he's just the pretty thing next to her, isn't it?
That's it, exactly.
That's definitely it. Yeah, some interesting stuff, but that looks like more of a stage to learn how to cook, I believe.
Yeah, that's what I want to go body power for.
That's what you're going to be there for, mate. But yeah, should be interesting. Anything that you're particularly looking out for or trying to get info on?
Not really, mate. No, no. We're just going.
I think
we're just going because it's a day where obviously like a lot of the fitness industry are there.
Yeah.
So we're going to just to catch up with some old faces and maybe try and organise a few collaborations with the old YouTube and see if we can do some work with some people. But
I've already said yes, Dan. Jesus.
Yeah, mate, I know. Don't worry about it. I told you,
never
we're too busy,
invited
mate.
me on.
Mate, I told you we're too busy, mate. We're too busy.
On.
We're too busy. So yeah, no, it'd just be good to see everyone and put some names and some faces and whatnot.
100%. Like any of these events, and even when it's like seminars and stuff like that, because the chances of networking and finding people that are very similar minded that you might be able to create work with or kind of networks with in the future, hands down is worth the kind of ticket itself.
And also, if you go and like you see people who you like, just you'll regret it if you don't go and say hello or just tap on the shoulder. Like, not me or Tom. Like, you want to fucking stay on the other side of body power to us. Like, you won't want to come near us. But the people that you do actually want to like, just say hello. Like, because I've had it before. People are going, "Oh, I saw your body power and I just didn't want to come and say hello." I was like, "Well, okay, we should have."
Cool.
If you want to say hello. So yeah, no. If you do see Tom, ignore him. If you see me, say hi because I'm a nice guy.
Yeah, you're lovely.
But no, it's good to see. Like I said, you just don't know who you might meet. You don't know, how nice they are and all that sort of stuff. So just do it and say hello.
Yeah, I mean, on the Friday as well, I will be, because I'm actually working, so I will be writing notes on a few people's talks, which I might make Dan come and do with me. I'm sure he wants to do that. So if
Too busy, mate.
anybody wants to come with me, they're more than welcome. Yeah, but I'll be going to a few talks. Maybe some good, maybe some I think might be bad, because we have to review it that way as well, what we don't want to do. So it's going to be interesting. Right, mate, we're going to do a slightly stupid things on the internet, because we're kind of reviewing Body Power. What, reviewing? Previewing.
Preview, mate.
And we wanted a bit of a giggle, so obviously I went to T Nation. Just to see they're still doing all their questions and their polls, and they're quite good. You still should do that, Dan. Just like ribbit all the time. So okay, so we got the so the title of this, Dan loved it. Okay, the 8 mistakes men make with diets.
Brilliant.
Only men though.
Only men. Women don't make these
You
mistakes.
girls are doing a fantastic job. Which is probably more true than anything else. Okay, so number 1, Dan. Right, we'll give you a rationale afterwards as well. Using diets made for sedentary women. So according to diet books, apparently, these are highly marketed towards sedentary women. Go, Dan.
Well, if they eat less food than they need, then they're going to lose weight quicker.
Yep.
So it doesn't really matter.
Doesn't really matter, does it? I mean,
No.
So apparently, that's going to slow down. According to this, it's the metabolism's going to slow down.
Do that. And no men do that anyway. Like, man is not picking up a woman's magazine and doing the diet out of it. Ridiculous.
What?
I'll tell you what they would be doing is if they're following T Nation's advice, they're fucked.
On some things.
Yeah, sorry.
there is some, like Tony G still writes for him. So
yeah, that's what I mean. But that's what I find so baffling is the conflicting advice.
Number 2. So taking air quotes. You got to eat big to get big. Close air quotes. Too far. So you got to eat. Is that good advice? Most men like to eat and eat a lot. So maybe some people take
dirty bulking, don't they?
Dirty bulking.
Just a bit too much.
Dirty bulking against clean bulking. Which one's better?
Well, dirty bulking, but it's just usually people go way above and beyond.
So people go way above. Yeah, it's like the whole. I think we discussed it when I think me and Josh were talking about Mike McDonald, and we're talking to him, and how you only need to kind of go about 200-300 calories in excess of your maintenance to gradually build muscle pretty well. So your weight should be trickling up, not fucking leaping and bounding. Mike's a fan of going up quite fast, don't he?
No, not really. I think the only thing that you need to be careful of with that, of course, and this is where a lot of people get it wrong, is that I've seen James Smith talk about it before, and he's like, you only need to be in a 90-calorie surplus to gain muscle.
And in my opinion, 90 calories is far too small, because your fluctuation of your kind of your daily calorie expenditure is going to be too small.
Exactly, it's ridiculous. Like you can't keep 90 calories. You can't. You
can't. Oh no.
You have to stop walking every time you hit your target step. Yeah. So the reason that you wouldn't do that as well, the other reason as well is, and the reason that even 200 to 300 calories, you have to still monitor things very, very closely, is that your metabolism and as we know, you're adaptable. So you can add 200 or 300 calories on, but you can then just move more naturally, and then you're no longer in a surplus. So then you have to add 200 300 calories onto that again and again. And this is where you see people who all the time say, oh yeah, I've jacked my food up and I've boosted my metabolism up to this high. My calories are now this high. It's like, no, you now fidget fuckloads more, you walk a lot more, you're far more energetic, you burn more calories when you train.
Your training's like through the roof.
Yeah. So actually you're still in a 200-300 calorie surplus. You just think that, and then as you start to diet down, that reduces. And that's why you have to cut calories. And that's why you see these people who are like, oh, I'm on 4,000 calories in my off season and I'm still, pretty lean and I'm still only just gaining this amount of weight. And then they have to diet on 2,000. You're like, yeah, because your body's adaptable. You've got these certain numbers. And that's what annoys me about the whole just a calorie deficit, mate. It's like, you're not really helping people understand how these things slow down, and that it's okay to have to drop that lower, and why you need to drop it lower, and all these sorts of things.
That's why they pay somebody like me or you.
In theory, yeah.
Number 3, eating like a pro bodybuilder. It's an interesting one. I guess that comes with the stigma of like the chicken and rice guy, or was it? What's the fish and rice cake guy? Yeah,
Fish and a rice cake.
If anybody hasn't seen that, like, just go to go.
If you haven't seen that, where have you been for that?
Have some fish, and then have some rice cake.
Yeah.
With some fish. Yeah, isn't he absolutely jacked now? That lad.
Yeah, he's still a bodybuilder, isn't he? He's massive.
Right, number 4, cutting when there's nothing underneath to show off.
Fair point.
That's 100% a fair point. I saw this, actually, I made this comment whilst I was watching Catfish the other day. Because Neve, if anybody watches Catches, Neve and Max, Neve said, oh yeah, obviously, this guy's ripped. Look at him, got the 6-pack abs. It was just a kid that was really skinny. And there's nothing. It was just really skinny. It's like I think there's a slight difference between really skinny and got abs, or actually got abs. Been training for a fair few years. Yeah, so put on some muscle, then you come down.
Exactly.
Build those foundations, mate. Yeah, solution. Don't need a solution to that. No. This could apply to women drinking too much beer. That's not a thing. It's a thing, but it's very very blasé statement. Too much beer equals over your calorie surplus. Cool. All right.
Yeah, but if you drink too much G&T, though, mate, it doesn't matter.
Mate,
it's not the same.
Matter, is it? No,
it's not the same.
Very true. No. What's your interesting fact about alcohol, Dan? I've used it since you told me, and I was like,
about its effect on hunger.
Yeah,
it's the only macronutrient that doesn't have any effect on satiation.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
Boom.
Which is why, as well, I saw the other day. I fucking went off one on. I had a rant on my emails. I wrote an email about. I saw an advert for. It was called. It's intuitive eating, but it's called hunger directed eating. It's called hunger directed. So you eat when you're hungry, and you eat what you want. And supposedly that means you're not on a diet ever again. And it's not going to work. That's what everyone else is fucking doing in the world, by the way. Anyway, and it was basically saying like, well, yeah, but you could drink a bottle of wine and still be hungry afterwards, and it doesn't help with that. Like, it doesn't. You could drink 5 bottles of wine in a day because you felt like you wanted to, but you'd still be hungry, so you still have to then eat, and you're well over your calories. Like it's ridiculous. But yeah, alcohol is the only macronutrient that doesn't have an effect on keeping you feeling full.
Doesn't. Use that in your next boring conversation, mate.
Don't need to, mate. You've just done it for me.
So number 6, this is 1,000%. Like taking a poll of the people that are on this podcast. Okay, that's me. Not learning how to cook. Who cooks in each household the most?
Me.
Brilliant. Okay, that's an interesting thing. Yeah, and I'm gonna keep it that way as well.
I genuinely think that's one of the best skills you can learn if you want to keep on top of that.
Yep, learning how to cook, and just learning how to read a label as well. Really interesting.
Yeah.
Becoming complacent. That's an interesting one. I feel like
that's a bit broad, isn't it?
A bit vague and like that's just kind of losing interest. I feel as well. Probably not getting bored. That's pretty weird. Yeah, and the last one, thinking they can eat like their teenage selves. I think that's pretty good. Also, not just for women. No, sorry, men. That's for everybody.
Yeah, I mean...
Well, you're not growing for number one.
But I think that comes back down to the whole, like, understanding calorie balance, though, and understanding... Actually, you probably moved a lot more when you're a teenager, and you're a lot more active, and...
Yeah, if anybody's listening to this and they are a teenager, and chances are you're moving a hell of a lot and you're still growing, and you're going to hit the gym for the next 5 years, just eat. Get
oh my God, I wish someone had grabbed me at the age of 15 and just gone, this is how you weight train.
Yeah.
Train hard, train heavy, eat whatever the fuck you want, and eat plenty of protein, and by the time you're 20, you're going to thank me.
Yeah, just do it. 100% wish we were still that. Yeah, we were just like, oh no, I'm gonna get a bit fat, and I just do it like for about 3-4 years, and then you'll be flying.
Weight training at that age though as well would have so many positive impacts. Like, I didn't know how to properly weight train until I was like, say, 2021.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I'd known how to do it when I was 15.
Yeah, I mean, learning how to move and all that kind of stuff. You can become such a better kind of human being as you move. So
yeah,
do it, mate. Perfect. It was I mean, the related topic is 10 mistakes women make with diets, but I feel like we saved that for next week, mate.
I reckon so.
Yeah, we will cap that there. Any other business?
None.
Cool.
None.
None from me as well. All right, guys. We will see you on the weekend if you manage to make it down to Body Power.
Yeah. If you are there, come say hello.
If you are there, say hello. And if you want to appear in Dan's vlogs, just kind of follow him around for most of the time.
Yeah.
And also say hello to him if you're at Revive Strongest thing, or if you're at Sudo's thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, mate. Like,
come say hello.
If we don't bump into one listener this weekend, we officially have no listeners.
I know. What are the chances, eh?
I mean, they're probably quite high. My mum's not going. Don't know whether yours is.
No, my mum's not going, so that means that there's one other person we're going to find.
All right. With that, we will end. All right. See you later, buddy.
Catch you later.